Hello, happy Monday. Welcome back to Reads of an Apple. My name is Stacy, and I'm here to start week 29 of 2023. I usually start these on the weekends, but I ended up going to bed super early last night because I was just tired, and it has been so hot these last couple of days, and I just don't want to do anything. So we have a little bit of catching up to do. First off, I mentioned during last week's vlog, Prime Day happened during that week, and then I kind of showed you a couple of the things that I bought. A lot of it was diamond painting and craft items, but there was stuff that was late and didn't show up with everything else, and those did arrive today, so we're gonna do those first just to kind of get them out of the way. So the first thing is I got a new storage container by Art Dot. Now I thought this was a lot bigger than it is. I was thinking it was one of the other ones that is around, but I figured I'd show it to you still. And it's still fine because it was on sale and it was like $5, but it's got 64, if I remember correctly, little guys like this. So definitely it won't hold too much. And then it's got that's a good click. I like the click. And it looks like the entire top also can come off as well. So that would help for, filling them, and then you can pop this in and pop them down. But I also have a little funnel that I can use if need be. So we'll see how it goes. But this is super cute. They're deeper. Like when I opened the package, I was like, that's a lot smaller than I expected it to be. But they're also pretty deep, so that's not bad. And it does have little stickers that comes with it. Whoa, that I just threw on the ground. Oh my goodness. You want to see? Cheese has the box. It's like the perfect cat size box. So, when I opened the box, because I was like, that didn't look big enough, so I opened the box. But it's the perfect size for the kitty, so she stole the box. But it does come with a huge sheet of stickers. What I like to do, I haven't quite gotten into the making my own stickers or using, if a company doesn't come with like stickers for them. What I like to do for a couple of the other kits that I have is number them. And so I'll have just 1 through whatever, and each one will have a number, but I won't number every single one. So like on the kit that I have, I think it has 40-ish, maybe 45 little containers in it, and I only have the first, I think, like 33 numbered. And then that allows me to, if I need like 5 containers for color number 5, if it's like black or something that there's a lot of, I can use those other ones that aren't numbered. And so it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the blank ones will be the remainder amount of number 5, and then 6, and continue on like that. I'm sure there's an easier way to do it, but I don't have too many, but I do have a couple larger kits that I wanted to be able to kit up more that have like 50, 60-ish colors. So I wanted a larger container that holds more. But like I said, these are small. So we'll see when I do one of those larger projects how it holds up. But you know what? I'm happy for more storage container options no matter what. So, and it was a good deal. And then the other one I wanted to open up with you. I haven't looked at it yet, although I am slightly concerned. It looks like they rolled it with the back side of the canvas out, and typically you want to roll it the other way. But let's look at it together. I haven't looked at it yet. And this is Tiny Fun. I'll link both of these items down below if you would like to purchase them or look at them yourself. I don't know how you got in this package. All right, I'm trying not to like ruin the edges of the canvas. Okay. Tiny fun. I mean, that's a cute little package. It's a kind of a tight fit, but so I'm gonna unroll this like so. Okay. So it does look like we have a basic kit. This one does come with it looks like a 3 multi-placer, which is cool, on top of the single multi-placer. I mean, and it comes with tweezers even though it's a round one. So they must have the one basic kit. And these do have the DMC numbers on them. So these are all the diamonds. We'll do a full unboxing, you know, since I'm here. I just want to take a peek at one of the diamonds. I will go through and I will take pictures of the canvas blank, just so I can put it in my GemFlow app and then also post it as a review on Amazon, because I think it's important for people to know what the actual rendering style is. And then once I complete them, I'll go on and I'll add that. I also like to look, okay, I guess it's one big long one. Typically when there's this many, they are in cuts. They are in separate strands, but if I just look at these real quick. All right, I'm not seeing really any static, but I do see that they have extra hole punches. I bet that's 310, yeah. I love it when they have, so this is the number of the color that should be on the canvas. I don't know if you can see. And then the DMC number, there we go. And then this is like the serial number of the canvas. I store them separately, but because I like to lay my canvases flat, but these are round drills. Those are some gorgeous blues and teals. Here's a dark color. You know what? I'm not seeing any static, although I think I kind of mentioned they have little holes in them, which helps with the static. But I'm not seeing any trash. I'm sure there is some trash. All of them come with at least a little bit of trash, which are like little pieces from the acrylic or the resin, depending on what type of drills these are. But I'm not seeing, they look really, really good. I can't remember what this was normal price, but it was like a Prime Day Lightning deal, and it was like $4 and change, so it was like $5 total. But let's look at the canvas. I am slightly nervous because it was folded with this side out, but is this the top? No. Oh, look at it. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. It looks so good. It looks really good in the camera, not as much in person, but that kind of tells you how it's supposed to look. Oh my gosh, isn't it so cute? It's a cow. My mom was a big cow person. And it looks like, and we have the clear plastic cover, so that means it's poured glue, which is always great. This canvas is a little thick. Typically you want to roll them going the opposite direction. And with these poured glue, you can usually roll them the other direction, and that helps set things out. A tip, if you have a canvas that's like super curly, is to put it under your mattress. I'll do that if it has a lot of folds or creases or something like that, and you just stick it in your mattress. If it looks like there are folds or creases in it, a lot of the times it's actually the plastic and not the canvas itself. So I like to, before I store them, take like the plastic off halfway and then very tightly re-put the plastic on, and that usually takes out a lot of them, because it's typically that and not the canvas itself. Okay, but yeah, just rolling it the other way definitely helped it lay flat. But as you can see, now the plastic is all creased. But the back of it isn't really creased. You can see a little bit here. And then this looks like it's creased, but it's actually an air bubble in the plastic. But isn't that super cute? I don't know. I myself am not a big cow person, but I thought it was super cute. This says it's a 30 by 40 and it looks good. I will measure it. Ooh. I'm concerned. Okay. It is really sticky. It's sticky. But this should not be sticking like this. That has me really concerned. I feel like this plastic was put on backwards, and so it could potentially rip the glue off. That has me a little bit concerned. Okay, this side is popping off. Nope, it tore some of the glue off there. Okay, I have a bunch of release paper, so I'll try to carefully... Yeah, this top corner, it does not want to come off. I'm just nervous it'll tear some of the glue off because it's really sticking to it. So I will send a comment. I'm going to try to pull this off, and then I have release paper that I can use to kind of keep things kosher, but I'll take a picture of it before I do that. So for the rendering field, but whoa, this has 36 colors. So there's only one key, and that's this at the bottom here, but look at this, 36 colors. I like it. I think it's super cute. I can't wait to do this one. It's not my usual vibe, but I don't know. I just, the cow and it's licking its nose and it's wearing the flowers. I just think it's super cute. And it's different. It's something different, you know? So, yay, there's that. Okay, I'm happy. I'm happy with everything except for this plastic. It is making me slightly nervous. I'll also measure it. If you want, I can measure it. Just so you know, because you know what? Since we're doing a full unboxing, pretending we're a crafting channel, let's see, we've got, it is, so this says it's supposed to be a 30 by 40, and we're at like 29. I usually do it flat, but there is a cat where I would measure it. We're 2 millimeters shy of 30 centimeters, so that's fine. I give them grace on that. I'm not as much of a stickler. You do have to be careful if it says painting size or canvas size or like drill field size, or I don't know. There's sometimes they word it slightly funky. You know what? And it is like 1.5 millimeters shy of 40. So, you know, it's pretty true to size. So this is a 30 by 40 centimeter drill field, not canvas, because some of them count canvas side, so that includes all of the white stuff around it. But cute. I'm super happy with that. I'm just nervous about that plastic. I will let you know tomorrow. That will be one of the first things I do when I'm done here, is take that plastic off. And if it does seem like it'll pull some of that glue off, I know you can get other glue, but I do want to contact them and just be like, hey, I don't know if this was on backwards. I got it to come off just fine, and it seems like the glue is fine, but I do want to reach out to them just so they know that there might be a run where the things were backwards. So, oh, I feel like I didn't mention, because I'm all over the place. My drills and my canvases I do store separately, but what I do is I will put the drills back in whatever little package they came in, and then I'll write on it with a permanent marker and like make sure I tape it closed so it can't open, even though they have some sealant on it, but sometimes, you know, the sealant stops working. And then I have a little box that just has them all in alphabetical order, but I have a lot of diamond paintings. I mean, not as much. I mean, I watch some stash videos on YouTube and I'm like, oh my gosh, these people have so many, but that's fine. I do have quite a few though that I haven't started, but I definitely want to be doing some, but I just need to finish my crocheting first, and then I can jump into some diamond painting. But maybe I'll do like if I crochet, if I like do crafting like 3 days a week, maybe I'll do like 2 days of crocheting and 1 day of diamond painting or something. I don't know. I just got to figure things out. But let's talk about books. Now, before we touch base on books that I have read this weekend, last week, I think I read it last weekend, or last weekend I finished it, Hold Me Today by Maria Louise. And when I was cleaning up my desk, I found my little note of what challenges I apply it to and realized I didn't tell you guys what challenges I applied it to. I thought I talked to you after I finished it. I remember filming a clip the day after I finished it, and I think I was just like, okay, I finished it. But I think it was more of I finished it yesterday and I already talked to you about it, but I didn't. But I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. Check out last week's vlog if you want to see my thoughts about it. But I really enjoyed it. But I wanted to at least tell you what challenges I applied it to if you're looking for books that fit certain prompts for things. So for Gildathon, I use this for Waltz With Me, which is a book that is either part of a trilogy or the 3rd book in the series. And so far this series only has 3 books out in it. And I think the author started writing other series. So I don't know if this is officially a trilogy, but there's only 3 books right now announced and or published for it. So I'm counting it for that. For the summer reading challenge, I picked this book up because the main character, Mina, was one of the characters who was mentioned in their Girl Crush episode. The summer reading challenge is through Buzzing About Romance. It's a podcast. And Mina was talked about in their Girl Crush. So that's like the book. They did the book Boyfriends of 2022 and the Girl Crushes of 2022. So Mina was one of the Girl Crushes mentioned in that episode. For the 2023 Summer Musical Tour Quarterly Reading Challenge, I use this for Hans Zimmer's Europe Tour 2023, and that's read a book that one of the prompts is read a book that you think would make a good movie, and I thought that would be super fun with this, with like the Bachelor-ish tie-in, the like off-brand Bachelor, if you will, or I guess technically it was the off-brand Bachelorette, and just the fun of the Greek families and the humor. And I don't know. I feel like this would make a really fun rom-com. For Read the Season, I applied this to the letter M for holiday number 1. For the Little Cafe Readathon, I ended up using this for Team Strawberry's Strawberry Milkshake, which is a book that is self-published or indie authored, or self-published or indie published. And that is what that is. So, as for things I did read this weekend, last week, ending on Sunday, was the fan fiction readathon, and I read Manacled for it. I have officially finished Manacled. I did a reading vlog. So I will pop that up there. You can watch it there and see my thoughts. But it lived up to the hype. I gave it 4 stars. And it is officially finished. And what's fun is I can say that I read it only during the readathon. It took both of the readathons. It took 2 weeks to read it. But I read it during the readathon, which is super fun. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. But as for reading challenges, now, when I did this Romanceopoly roll, whenever I rolled this, I don't even know when, I got the gym, which is let's do some heavy lifting, read the longest book on your TBR. And at the point, I had looked up what I had on my TBR, and I was like, oh, okay, that's in a jam for this month's TBR. Totally spaced about the fanfiction readathon, because this book... The version that I had over 2,000 pages, which is the longest book that was on my TBR. And my fanfiction TBR was literally just my number 1 priority is to get as far into or finished with Manacled. And so I'm switching it over to that. If you are playing Romanceopoly, the genre only prompt is historical, but I'm applying this to Manacled. So we will need to make a new Romanceopoly roll, which is fun. For Gildathon, I use this for Bank the Embers, which is a book that has been on your TBR for 1 year or more. For Feels Like Summer, I applied this to read a book that is over 500 pages. For the Ripped Bodice Summer Bingo, I applied this to the train prompt. Now, this isn't like a train you ride, despite the graphic that's on the Ripped Bodice. You can interpret these prompts however you would like. And there is quite a few different training scenes of Hermione learning, like relearning how to duel and training in healing magic, and like she's learning and being trained by Draco a couple of times throughout the book. So I'm applying it for that. For the 2023 Summer Musical Tour, I applied this to Smashing Pumpkins, The World is a Vampire Tour, and one of those prompts is a destructive character. So read a book with a destructive character. Yeah, this applies. For Read the Season, I applied this to the letter S for Holiday Number 1 for the author, who is Sun Lin Yu. And then for the Little Cafe Readathon, I applied this to Team Mango's prompt for Mango Iced Tea, which is a book that's been on your TBR a long time. So similar TBR-based prompts on that. Then, after the Readathon live show last night, there was a Little Cafe Readathon. There was a reading sprint. There was 2 last night, and I ended up only participating in 1. But I finally finished In a Jam by Kate Canterbury. And I was so sad because I'm so sad it took me like a week to read this. But that's because I like had to switch gears into Manacled, and I thought, I started Manacled with the audiobook. I can read this at night, but I was just like staying up late and crocheting and listening to the audiobook, and I didn't want to put the audiobook down. So then when I went to bed, I just went to bed instead of reading because I was reading up until going to bed. So, but after I finished Manacled, I picked this up for the reading sprint and finished it. 5 stars. 5 stars. This I can see being one of my top contemporary books for the year. I loved Shay and Noah. I was a little nervous about what was going to happen because Shay definitely struggles with some insecurities. But one thing that I really, really loved about this book is it's not like her insecurities just go away. And it's not like Noah just magically is able to heal these insecurities in her when she finally is like able to admit that she's in love with him and she wants to stay married to him and they want to continue their relationship. I love that she's just like, I love you. And I want to fight for our relationship and I want to fight to be together. But it will be hard for me. I have some insecurities. I have some doubts in if I'm lovable. I will have moments where I think, people only say that they love me because they need something from me. And I'm worried and I'm afraid. And so afraid that you will end up leaving me once again because everybody else has in my life. And I love that Noah's just like, we can work through it. We can work through it. And it just made me feel so good seeing that he was so willing to work through those with her and just stand by her with that. And it wasn't like they magically went away. Her anxieties and her self-doubts and whatever didn't magically go away just because Noah loved her. And I really, really love that. And and then the last little bit where we find out, because there were kind of hints about the name of Noah's farm when he renamed it and the new logo. And there were hints that something kind of happened with it, why he named it a certain way. And when you find out about it, I was just like, oh my gosh, how? And it was just so sweet. I really, really love this. And it really hit me. I definitely have this on my want to own list. I would love to own this in a paperback version. Noah was just so swoony, and it was Shay for him for his entire life. And it just, And he's this like farmer, but before he like was forced to come home and take over the farm for his parents, he was a litigator in like New York City or something. And so he threatens somebody with like suing them, and like all of a sudden spouts out all this like alpha male legal jargon. And I was like, you can be both city and small town? Okay, Noah. Like, if I kept track of like book boyfriends, Noah would be like top tier in that list. I really just, I enjoyed this book so much. I loved it to pieces. If you have seen this book around and you haven't thought about picking it up, if you like small town romances, if you enjoy people who are just, you know, more real, Shay is real bodied. She talks about how, you know, her body isn't perfect. She's developing cellulite. She has a little bit of a belly roll. And she's not self-conscious about it very much. It's more just her whole person, who she is what she's more self-confident. She struggles with self-confidence wise, but Noah likes her. And Noah can get it. And then his little niece Jenny, who just wants to be a little first grader pirate, and it cracks me up. I'm gushing about this book, but I love it to pieces, and I highly, highly recommend picking this book up if you enjoy small town romance. I was slightly nervous. I've heard a lot of really good things, so I was positively looking forward to this book, but the two books that I've read from Kate Canterbury before, I didn't really enjoy very much. I think one was like a 2-star, and one was I ended up giving like a 2.5 or a 3-star or something like that, which I typically like 3 stars, but I think that was back before I was overly trying to be nice with things, which tells you when I really gave something a 2-star. That's a different than how I rate things today for sure. It'd probably be a 1-star, by the way, I rate things today. But this one, there's a bonus epilogue, bonus chapter type situation, so I signed up for her newsletter and I got that. And then she also was like, sign up for the newsletter it mentioned in the back of this book for more about the town of Friendship, which is where this is mostly set. And I was like, is this a series? It's still not marked as a series. I see no series name, but I'm like, is this gonna be a series? Because I would love, even if they aren't people who are, because like we have Shay's friends who are back in Boston, who are teachers at the school that she used to work at. And so I don't know if they're gonna get books too, or if we're gonna do just other people in the town, but if she writes more in this series, I am definitely intrigued. And I think any of her other newer books after this one, I'm definitely more intrigued by, because I like this one so much. So yeah, there's my gushing review of In a Jam. For reading challenges, we'll see if it fits the next Romance Happily roll. Hopefully, maybe, we'll see. But for Gildathon, I used this for One Hit Wonder, which is a book that's a standalone. For the Summer Reading Challenge, I had a couple options I could have applied this to. Like I mentioned, Becky from Buzzing About Romance, which is the people doing the Summer Reading Challenge, told me to read this back when they did a quick shop for it back in 2022. And I was like, and then she was like, you need to read this book. So I finally read it. Thank you, Becky. And Becky, I should trust more. And so this, I chose to apply it to their books that were mentioned in their top books of 2022 podcast episode. If you're also participating in Summer Reading Challenge, this would also work for a quick shot one, and I think a couple other of the prompts. For the Ripped Bodice Summer Bingo, this worked for Left at the Altar. For the 2023 Summer Musical Tour, I applied this to Pink, which is a Summer Carnival 2023 tour. And that one of the prompts for that is food on the cover. And this has raspberries. But I have to say, I look at this cover differently because at one point he refers to her nipples looking like raspberries. And I totally saw the cover differently after that moment. But he does make like jams. So the raspberries still make sense in that context, but After that description, I was like, so now I just think about that when I look at the cover. But for the Little Cafe Readathon, I also use this for the Strawberry Team for the Strawberry Milkshake, which is a book that is self-published or indie published. So there is that. Now, when I got home, I finally started Jilted by Kelly Jamieson. This is the one that I originally had planned for Left at the Altar, because I didn't realize In a Jam was Left at the Altar. But this is also one that I'm reading for the Summer Reading Challenge as a book that was mentioned in one of their trope talks. And that's how I knew that this was like, they did a wedding episode trope talk. So I checked this out from Libby. I was able to renew it before it was returned. Nobody else is wanting it, so that's great. But I had mentioned, I don't know, in the past couple weeks, that the cover for Jackie Lau's For Weddings to Fall in Love, I think her new series that kicks off later this month, her cover changed. And I wasn't quite sure why, and it used to have flowers on it. And I was going to apply it to the flower prompt for Little Cafe Readathon for my team's Team Cherry. But this one has flowers on it because the new cover of Jackie Lau's book does not have flowers. But she did also send a newsletter that I didn't notice when I mentioned that the cover had changed. I just saw the cover change mentioned on Instagram. But she did send out a newsletter that said that she was made aware that the original image had some of it was created from elements that her and her cover artist found out were AI generated. And so she was like, we're redoing the cover. So I love that authors are starting to really kind of speak out and be open about the concerns about AI. And it's a little bit scary. And I can understand why some people are trying to fight for AI, and I know that technology is moving forward, but we definitely need to be compensating artists and not allowing their art to be stolen in all formats. I mean, I'm sure I've heard some book writing programs that write books, and, you know, we've got the AI art stuff, and so we just have to be careful about what we do with AI. And, you know, we don't want War of the Robots, you know, maybe it's just me, but I'm just like, things are getting a little, squidgy for me. And I'm just like, it makes me uncomfortable. And some of it is pretty, and some of it, yeah, I know you generate it and then you go through and you do some work on your own in Photoshop to actually make it look better because it has weird things that it does, like third eyes and funky stuff. But I don't know. It's a whole thing, but I was very appreciative that Jackie Lau was just like, I found out that this cover was made with AI. It had some elements of art that was created in an AI whatever program, and so we changed the cover. So yeah, but there's no flowers on it anymore. So that's fine. But Jilted has flowers. So all of that to go around to Jilted has flowers. So that is going to be slotting in to my Little Cafe Readathon prompt, which is great. So I started this when I got home. I was uploading a video and I was waiting for my computer to do things. So I'm only like 16% of the way through. This starts out the prologue. Our hero Josh is left at the altar, and it's from his POV, and his fiance is Allie, and they are standing at the altar, and her ex-boyfriend shows in and is like, I have to talk to her. And then he's just like, you're the ex, like you broke her heart, like we've had to move forward kind of situation. He could tell she was kind of drunk and like stressing out, and he was like, well, yeah, I got drunk last night too, but I wasn't drinking this morning. And then the guy's like, just let me talk to her, because otherwise, you know, you're gonna wonder what if both of you, like, what did he have to say kind of situation. And then he kind of throws her over her shoulder, or he picks her up and carries her off or something like that. So she's gone. And then we get to chapter 1, and it's 1 month earlier, and we're in Devon's POV. So Devon is Josh's ex. And he does mention that he sees her in the pews at the church or whatever. And that's like where the prologue stops. And it seems like she had a crush on Devon Devon had a crush on Josh for a very long time. And something happened and they started dating when they were in the city. I think they're also in Boston. This is set in Massachusetts. So it's a small town in Massachusetts, but I guess her and Josh did end up dating. He was, I think 3 grades above him or something like that, or 3 years older. So they were in high school for a couple of years at the same time, but they ended up reconnecting when she was going to college in Boston, and then they ended up dating, and I'm still not sure exactly what happened with the breakup, but she one day receives, so a month earlier, to where the wedding happened, she receives an invitation in the mail from her best friend, Allie, who is no longer her best friend. It's her ex-best friend, who is getting married to Josh. So her ex-best friend and her ex-love of her life are getting married, and she gets an invitation. And then she kind of... I guess they became ex-best friends when she saw Allie mark on Facebook that they were dating or like in a serious relationship or something like that. And so, she felt a little bit betrayed, and she like played it off like it was cool, but she was still in love with Josh, and there was just whatever situation happened that separated them. So we'll see how that situation goes down. I'm a little nervous on how big of a situation it is, if it's going to be some silly little miscommunication things. So I'm still kind of nervous on this. This is why I struggle with second chances. Totally didn't think it was like a second chance after being left at the altar by somebody else. It seems like the Josh's and Allie's might have been like a marriage of convenience that was broken up. But so I'm guessing it'll be Devon and Josh's romance is what it's seeming like so far, since those are our 2 POVs. But I did not read the blurb. I just remember Becky talking about it, and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And then it popped back up on my radar when I was looking for books with Left at the Altar. So that's that. We're going to stop there. I could talk more about it, but like I said, I'm only 16% of the way in, so I'm not 100% sure what exactly is going on. But, and she also just got laid off from her job. So she's kind of at a crossroads in her life, having to come back to her small town where she has a contentious relationship with her dad, and go to a wedding to prove that she's fine with everything that's happened, even though she's not, because she was kind of challenged inadvertently by her former best friend. And then she runs off with her ex-boyfriend and leaves Josh at the altar. So, we'll see what happens from there. So let's do the quest calendar and then wrap up this clip, because once again, my opening clip is long, but we have a lot of books to talk about. Okay, so if this is my first video, or at least weekly vlog of mine that you are seeing, I have been playing the quest calendar for the past couple of years. This is a daily calendar with Saturdays and Sundays combined that is based off of a tabletop role-playing system that's D20 based. So think Pathfinder, D&D, D20 Modern, that type of thing. The theme for 2022 is the Void Spark Chronicle, which is a sci-fi based series. So think like Star Wars, Star Trek, Firefly, Battlestar Galactica. I mean, sci-fi, space opera type things. This is created by Sundial Games, which is a Colorado company, which is fun to rep. The Kickstarter, when this is up, has just ended for 2024's calendar, but I know they do late backing options, and you can always get more information from their website. So their website is linked down below in every one of my weekly vlogs, because I play this every day. So, have a tickle. Hold on. Apparently, my coughing disturbed her. All right, so I do get a more deluxe version of the game that comes with the hero companion book. So that's what this one looks like for this year. I highly recommend if you want to play this. It really makes a difference. It is in landscape format, which is an upgrade for the 2024 version. Here is our ship character map, which is super fun. Something that they also added are these reusable stickers for both our ship upgrades as well as our characters' equipment. So that's super nice. It also comes with a set of markers that you can use for this. And I have been playing as Zarilla Tur. She is an Urzen Mystic, and we are level 4 right now. So there's who we are playing as. Our main objective has been to rescue Andy, who is a friend of a couple scientists who was kidnapped by some rebels of the bad format called, their brand of creature is called Stitchers. And they're like space alien Frankensteining themselves. They've got like patches of other creatures that they add to themselves to like power up situations. So we're trying to rescue her and also deal with the Stitcher rebel people. So right now we are dealing with a giant planet-eating monster, and we are currently inside of the monster's heart, trying to destroy it before it eats the planet that we were just on as like a way station to where we're trying to go. So here's where we're at. Here is our ship inside this creature's heart. And we've got all these little monsters that are trying to attack us. That's probably part of its immune system. Before we turn the page, though, and do the weekends and then today. So we have 2 pages to do. Like I said, Saturdays and Sundays are combined. Here's what a basic page breakdown looks like. We usually have almost a full page of art. Any of the script type font is our story. If there is a box with some block style font, that will be whatever mechanics we have to play for the day. This one specifically is a combat page, so it has this table that tells us either how many creatures or how many rounds for one creature, and then what type of rolls we might have to make. So all of the information that we need to play the day's page is on the back of the previous day's page. So you can't spoil yourself unless you go out of your way to do it, which is always fun. So let's do it. Like I said, we have 2 pages to play. Oh no. It looks like something is breaking our windshield. And we are in a giant monster in the middle of the space. That's not good. Okay, 2 of the lymphoids break into the bridge of the ship. Take them out before they hurt anyone in the crew. Okay, all right. So this is number 1, optional, lure the beast away from the crew, yes or no. Then 2, avoid their corrosive mucus. And then 3, defeat the beast. And then when we defeat the beast, we will have attack damage and potential strength roll for both lymphoids. So what's crazy is this one has our normal page. So this is our mechanics. And then this is combat. I haven't seen one that ends up having both of those before. So that's crazy. All right. So I will pull my dice tray forward and we will just kind of get going. So optional, lure the beasts away from the crew. Yes or no? Yes. I'm playing a good character. So yes, gain 1 virtue. We are already at our max of positive 10. So we can't gain any more, but it's nice that we're still good characters, right? So this is a charisma roll, reminder, animal tamer, and intimidating. We do have animal tamer, which gives us a +2, and our charisma is a +1. So we get a total of +3 to our D20 roll. And that is a 19. So what did I say? +3, so 22. Okay, if the result is 11 or more, the creatures see you as the most immediate threat and come after you. Take a -2 penalty to avoid their mucus, number 2 below. Great. Good, but not great. So number 2, avoid their corrosive mucus. So this is, oh wait. The creature is covered in a toxic slime that seems to corrode everything it touches. It is acidic and burns away metal and flesh. Great. Okay, so constitution roll, reminder, danger sense. We do have danger sense, and our constitution is also a +1. So once again, a +3 to our d20 roll. And that is a 17, so 20 total. If the result is 15 or more, you avoid getting this. Oh, wait. So we have the +3, but then we get the -2. So we get a +1. So we're only 18. But we still needed 15 or more, so we're fine. So you avoid getting the sludge on yourself. Okay, so now defeat the beast. So lymphoid number 1. So our attack roll is a +6. And that is a 17 once again. So 23. And I don't have any other minuses or pluses, just our normal +6. Okay, so 23. Lymphoid number 1. If your attack roll is 18 or more, you hit the enemy. So now we roll damage, and our damage is 2d12 +2. So 7 and 9. So that's 16, 18 total damage. All right, if you hit and your damage roll is 9 or more, the enemy dies. So first lymphoid is dead. On to number 2. So attack roll once again. That is an 11, so that puts us at 17 to attack. Lymphoid number 2. Oh, if your attack roll is 16 or more, this one is less. If it was lymphoid number 1, we wouldn't have hit. But good. Okay, so damage on this guy. This is a 10 and 3, so 15 total damage. On this guy, we needed a damage roll of 12 or more. So lymphoid number 2 dies. Okay, so collect 1 credit for each enemy you killed. So we get 2 credits for killing the 2 lymphoids. Now, another mechanic that was added in 2023 is what they call the Sunday Lottery. That's this box here. What that is every time you play your weekend page, you can choose to roll a d6 if you would like. If you roll a 1 or 2, you lose a little bit of credits. If you roll a 3 or higher, you gain a little bit of credits. It's worth it. The odds are in our favor, so I always roll it just for fun. That is a 3, so we gain 1 credit. So a total of 3 credits gained for this page. So once again, I will show you the artwork. That's the creatures that have broken in. So let's see what today, Monday's page brings. Okay, it looks like we are going to try to explode. I don't know. Well, I thought we were inside the heart, so maybe it's part of the heart. I don't know. Let's see. Or no, we're just in the bloodstream, I guess. The heart of the glutanic is before you. You feel the vibrations from the pumping and pulsing as this large organ works to supply fuel to the gigantic creature. Captain Kalis orders you to fire all weapons at the heart. So blast the heart with everything you've got. Roll a d100 plus aim. So with ship combat, we roll a d100, not our d20. If you have not played with d100s before, you roll your percentile dice, which is this one, and then your d10, and that gives you your d100. They also do make d100 dice, but I don't own one of those. So blast the heart with everything you've got. So you will need 5 successes before you can weaken and penetrate the thick skin of the heart. Repeat this roll until you have enough. So we need 5. All right, so let me flip my character sheet to see. I think our aim is plus 30, if I remember correctly. Yes, our aim is plus 30. So let's get to it. So that is 44. Hey, my favorite number. Twice. So that gives us 74. Okay, if the result is between 51 and 75, you concentrate all your firepower at the heart. Gain 1 success. Perfect. So we have gained 1 success. So roll 2. That is a 70. So the total is 100. If the result is 76 or more, you have found a weak place in the lining of the heart. Gain 2 successes. Okay, so we're up to 3 with only 2 rolls. Perfect. Ooh, let's get another 76 or more, and then we can be done right away. Okay, that is a 64. Hey. So that puts us at 94, which is 676 or higher. So another 2 successes. So we very quickly reached our 5 successes. So once you have 5 successes, a large hole opens in the organ and begins to hemorrhage out a bodily fluid. This has a cascading effect. All of the blood vessels and capillaries begin to burst. Great. Fun. Perfect. So I'm guessing tomorrow's page is going to be escape the beast before like explodes into smithereens or something. So fun. I'm glad that we were able to kill this beast because I was really sad that if this planet was going to die. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. Try to keep this clip under an hour. We have 10 minutes left and I could ramble for 10 minutes more, I'm sure, but I'm not going to. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a good Monday. We hit almost 100 degrees here today. So I definitely just kind of want to relax the rest of the evening because nothing takes it out of me like the heat does. So I'm going to read and relax the rest of the evening. And hopefully I will be back tomorrow to film an update. So I will see you very shortly, and I hope you have, at the very least, a great Tuesday. Okay, so when I finished my last clip, I totally forgot that, I needed to set up our Romanceopoly board. So let's do this, and then I will say bye for you for today. We are at the gym, which is right here. Let's pick 2 D6s. I'll just reach out, grab some random ones. Pink and yellow. Sure, fits the vibe, I guess. All right, so let us roll our dice. So 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we are on Bow Boulevard. Okay, so, all right, it looks like we have not done Bow Boulevard yet, which is cool. Let me just mark that I rolled a 6 in my notes, and let's look at what Bow Boulevard is. I can see from the top here that the generic genre prompt for it is young adult. So, okay. Our specific prompt, you read a young adult book of your choice. Well, I don't read young adult very much, so let's be honest. The few young adult books I do read are mostly fantasy, so I will have to look for a fantasy young adult that I would like to pick up. I have nothing like that currently planned on my TBR for the rest of the month, so I might not pick this up right away. It might not be till the end of July, if not August, when I get going on this one, but we at least know what it is. I'm disappointed it wouldn't work for In a Jam, but you know what? It is what it is. We only have this many prompts left. We're doing pretty good. So outside of this one, we've only got 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We only have, so including Bow Boulevard, we only have 12 prompts left for Romanceopoly. So, we still have time to get through the rest of them by the end of the month. But I'm gonna leave you to it. I think I knocked the board, but okay, so now I hope you have a good Tuesday. And yeah, I will at some point be picking up another young adult very, very soon. Hello. Happy Monday. No. What is it? Happy Tuesday. I don't know. Yeah, it is just after 8 o'clock. I was kind of figuring out what I want to do the rest of the night, and I was like, I should film my clip. So here we are. Book stuff. Let's do book stuff first. Also, I wanted something sweet and I wanted something cold. So I made a coffee shake. I just did 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream into like my little, I mean, it's not little, it's like a blender. And then I just filled it up with coffee. So it's not very thick because I didn't add ice or anything else, but it's just like hitting the spot. And it's like my super dark roast that I've had steeping in the fridge for my iced coffee, and this is just hitting the spot. And it's okay because I did not have coffee today. I did not make a cup of coffee before I went to work, and I just drink water all day. So you know what? I get a little bit of a treat, you know? But anyway, book stuff. So, last night I did start Jilted by Kelly Jamieson. I think I started it. I think might have started it before I did yesterday's clip, but I wasn't very much in. But now I am 38% in. I am enjoying this. There are a couple moments where I think our main heroine is being a little too gracious of those around her, and I'm just like, oh, don't let it slide, don't let it slide. But that's more of a me problem for sure. But so it only took a couple chapters before we caught back up to the prologue. And what's interesting is we switched, and so we were in Devon's POV. And then when we got to the minute where Allie leaves Josh at the altar, we're back in Josh's POV. And so it was like a good little like catch up kind of a thing. And then it's interesting. I'm really getting like marriage of convenience or like a best friend pack type of situation, because it seems like Josh's family and Allie's family were like super close, and you know, especially their moms, and Allie's mom died recently, and you know, his mom's been really sad, and then with the wedding between him and Allie, his mom's like been starting to smile more and things like that. So I'm intrigued on that situation. Okay, I will be back. I'm getting a phone call. I'm back. My boss just finished watching Claim to Fame, and I was watching it earlier, and I had called her because I was freaking out about something, and I was like, oh my gosh, are you watching it? And she's like, I'm only 9 minutes in, and I'm like, well, I'm 16 minutes in. You gotta catch up. So she just finished it, so she called me so we could talk about the show. And, you know, I had to pull up my fancy dancy spreadsheet, so we're keeping notes on everybody. And yeah, if you haven't seen Claim to Fame, I highly recommend it. It is probably one of my favorite reality TV shows, and tonight's episode was so freaking good. Although I am like, did these people forget they're playing a game? They got a little too in their emotions at the end. But anyway, back to Jilted. So they are like, well, I guess we should find Allie and at least make sure she's okay from this dude who came and like kind of picked her up and grabbed her, and she still kind of went with him willingly, but so Devon, you know, is struggling because she still has a lot of emotions for Josh, and she feels like she kind of left him abandoned in the big city. And we did see a firm mention of him saying that he wishes that she would have moved back to their small town. So I'm just kind of holding out, because I don't know what the miscommunication thing that caused them to break up, what exactly that situation is. So I'm a little nervous about that and how silly or realistic it might or might not be. But otherwise, I am enjoying. I don't like to see it, but it is kind of nice to see it in with this modern day contemporary of him being married to Allie and him not really being like, I'm in love with Allie. So it definitely felt more marriage of convenience type situation, because we haven't seen him say at all in his POV that he loves her. He did say he cares for her. But you know, they grew up together for a long time. And so, yeah, we also saw a little flashback of them getting burgers the night before, him and his best man Jackson, and I guess they ran into Devin at the like old burger shop, and he was just like, he was drunk, but he also was like, I've been thinking about her for so much of my life since we broke up, and then he thinks like he's imagining her sitting there, and then you realize she's actually sitting there. And Devin is breaking my heart. There was a weird thing with her dad potentially having some relationship with their next door neighbor, and this woman just kind of like having candles in the house, and you know, she saw her dad smile at her, and she's never seen her dad smile since when her mom left when they were like when she was like 12 years old or something. And she has kind of been forced to keep all of her emotions under check and just pretend like everything is fine when she's dealing with her dad, and just dealing with her home situation, and just in a lot of other situations in her life. And it really, really hits deep on another level. And there was one really weird moment where, this is kind of like where I mentioned where I'm putting almost too much of myself or my own emotions into it, because this other woman, the next door neighbor was talking about how like, I don't understand how your mom could have left you. I fight for my kids. And the way that she said it, I know it wasn't meant to be this way, and Devin didn't take it this way, but the way that I took it as a reader was like, almost like this person is, first of all, talking bad about your mom when they don't know anything about her mother. Never mind the fact that like, almost kind of like bragging about how she is a better mother or a better person than her mother. And I'm like, you don't know this lady. This is the first time you've met him. And then the entire dinner, she was talking about the wedding and everything. And aren't Allie and Josh perfect together? And Devin is sitting there. It's already a struggle for her to be in the house, be in the town, and having to deal with this wedding. But then to hear this woman go on and on about how perfect Allie and Josh are together. And I was just like, apparently her dad didn't know that her and Josh dated, because he would have probably mentioned it to this Susan lady. But did nobody hear? Like, I really wanted her dad to be like, okay, next topic. Because he and Susan didn't notice that, like, Devin stopped talking because she could not handle, and she just kind of zoned out because she couldn't handle this other person talking about how perfect Allie and Josh are together when she's still in love with frickin' Josh. And so I was just like, lady, shut up. So I am not Team Susan. And it just broke my heart that like nobody really seems to, you know, see Devin or really kind of notice when she's hiding some feelings. That, now I'm getting in my feelings, because I am very much the same way of hiding my feelings a lot of the time and pretending like things are fine when things aren't fine. But that is a problem I have had since I was very little. Yes, we're gonna move on for that, because now I'm all in my emotion, but I am enjoying it. Okay, so overall, where we are in the story now is, they're trying to get into contact with Allie and just make sure she's okay, because nobody's been able to hear from her. And Devin's just like, where would she go? Where were you planning on going on your honeymoon? Maybe they took the honeymoon instead, or kind of something. And there is a small island that is nearby. And he's like, I booked a honeymoon suite at this motel on this nearby island that's just a ferry ride away. And she's like, well, I can go check out and see if she checked in there and follow it up. And because, I don't know if I mentioned this previously, but she was just laid off from her work so like a month before the wedding, where we kind of jump into to Devin's portion of the story. She gets laid off from her from her work because of economical circumstances that's going on. So she's been searching for a job for the past month, and she's just like, I'm running out of my severance. I've got rent. You know, I had a nicer job, so I got a nicer apartment. I bought nicer things, you know, as you do when you have more money. You can upgrade your living situation. And there is one person that is hiring, but their HR manager is on vacation. And what kind of puts the nail in her decision of deciding to go to this wedding is this person is on vacation for the next 2 weeks at this island, which happens to be the same island that the honeymoon is supposed to happen. So she's like, I'll go to the island and I'll see if she can check in. And then in the back of her mind, she's like, I can also search for this HR dude and introduce myself, and then maybe kind of get networking in on being possibly considered for this job situation. So Josh ends up going with her. So now they are staying in the honeymoon suite together, and they walk in and there's candles and everywhere, and you know, like the hotel went all out for the honeymoon suite for them. And she gets a little sad and in her feelings about it because, you know, she wishes it was someone doing that for her, and not even just Josh doing it, but just that she had someone who would do those romantic things for her. And it's just a split second that she shows it on her face, but Josh notices, and I was like, okay. So I have high hopes. I have very high hopes for this. So yeah, now they are on the island for, I don't know if they're going to stay for the whole length of what the honeymoon was supposed to be planned for, or how the situation is going to go, but we got through that first night. He slept on the couch and he gave her the bedroom. So, because they have like a honeymoon suite situation. So we'll see what happens. I definitely want to read more of it tonight because it is, I'm definitely enjoying the tension between them. And the way that they were kind of easily able to kind of just fall back into their banter with each other. And they're both miss each other. And so I'm just like, we're going to get some mutual pining situations. And hopefully it's not too much angst over the Allie situation. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But so far, so good. Then for book news for book number 2, I did end up picking up an audiobook today at work. I had a couple audiobooks that I have flagged that I might pick up for some other reading challenge prompts that I have going on for the month of July. And so I decided to pick up Keeping Mr. Right Now by Robin Beelman. This is the first book in her Kisses in the Sand series. I had a couple other, one of the prompts for summer reading challenge is a beach theme. Read a book with a beach theme or set on a beach or something like that. And I had a couple different options, and then I saw this as Robin Beelman, and I was like, that name sounds familiar. And she's the one who did like Talk British to Me or something like that I read a while ago and really liked that. I gave that 5 stars, I think. So I was like, okay, we'll pick up this one. This one, I don't know how much earlier it is compared to Talk British to Me. I am enjoying it for the most part. This is, Zane is our hero. He is a professional surfer, and he is hoping to have this big endorsement, not just endorsement, to be like an ambassador type person for a company called, the initials are SHE, S-H-E, and it's surfing, but it's also like with a more of an environmental twist, and like, you know, helping keep oceans clean and taking care of the ecosystem, but it's all like more ocean centered. And they're just like, he kind of has a bad boy reputation. What I find is interesting though is he mentions like, if, you know, my friends know the truth, that when I am seen with these, you know, more loose type women that gets posted in the surf media, or just, you know, people see me out drinking and having fun, nobody has put together that it's like the same time of year every single year is the only time that this happens. And then we know as the reader, he's just like, it's like the anniversary of my father's death kind of a situation. So, and it seems like he had a contentious relationship with his father, his father thinking like, oh, you're just going to be a surfer. You're not good at anything, you won't be able to have like a real job, you're not smart enough kind of situation. Like, yeah, you just need to go be by the water, but in a condescending way almost. So anyway, he is tasked to give surfing lessons to Sophie, who is new in town. She's an event planner for some surfing film festival. So I don't know. I know nothing about the surfing community. So I'm like, is this like documentaries of people filming things? Is this like just surfing movies? Like, I don't quite understand the point of it because I don't like, because none of the other like sports I follow have film festivals for just those sports. So I don't know. It's interesting. But she's giving me virgin vibes. But I don't know if she actually is, because she does talk about having boyfriends and bedroom play that they did. But she was born and raised in Montana, and she graduated from college at the age of 20 with a neuroscience degree, I remember. If I remember correctly. So she's like super into science. And then she, started doing research on the brain and things like that. And then she runs into an event planner one day at an event for the dean of the college that she's working at, and decides that she doesn't find enjoyment. She's good at it. Her brain handles like the science and the research really well, but she doesn't find enjoyment in it. And so she's learning to be an event planner, and her boss was supposed to be the event planner for this like film festival thing. This is set in California. Sophie is from Montana. She's never left Montana. This is the first time she's ever seen the ocean. First time she's ever done surfing or anything like that. There's a really cute scene in the beginning where she has like a liaison type person. And her name is Honor, I think. And she's like getting her drunk because she's like, you've never had a not virgin cocktail. And so she gives her tequila and then a pina colada. I was just like, oh my gosh, girl. She's just like going full all at it. But, it's definitely giving me like, they're cute, they're cute together. It's definitely kind of giving me a little bit of the squeegees, just because, she's not like other girls, or she doesn't react to me like other girls. Other girls are always throwing themselves at Zane because, he's the hot surfer god and things like that. But so like that aspect, I'm just like, eh. So that's why I was like, I don't know how early on in her career it is, how old this book might be. I also... So that's not why I'm too sure of what exactly her experience is in the bedroom. She has mentioned she's had a couple boyfriends before, so I don't know. But she's also very, not necessarily shy, but she doesn't interact with people well socially. And that I kind of I understood more of her portion of the whole she's not like other girls situation is because she is like really smart, and so she was bullied a lot growing up, and I guess has a fairly flat chest, and she was called a plain Jane, and was bullied for not being pretty enough. But because she was so smart, she graduated college early, she graduated high school early, and then she graduated college early. So she never quite, similar to like what we see with Sheldon Cooper and The Big Bang Theory and just other people who are geniuses that graduate from places early, they just don't have the same type of social development skills because they are kind of forced into a situation where their peers are people who are so much older than them and are in a different life maturity than they are. So it's hard to kind of really learn or feel like you have found your place in society when you're constantly being thrust into situations where your mental IQ and your smarts level is so much higher than everybody else, but their ages is like so much more than yours, and their life maturity is so much higher than yours. So I understand her. Her parents are also very, I mean, they love her, but it seems like her mom is very passive aggressive about her leaving her brain research job, and definitely does not want her to be an event planner. So there's stuff going on there, but so far it's cute. It's probably sitting at like a 3.5 stars in it. I'm 33% of the way through. So I think my plan is tonight, I want to do a little bit of crocheting. So what I might do is crochet till like 10 o'clock ish, and then go to bed, and at that point switch over to my ebook. But we'll see. I might, by the time I feed cheese and go through things, decide that I just want to read my ebook. So we'll see. Whatever I pick up, whatever I decide to pick up and do, it will be reading based. Whether it's audio or ebook, who knows? But so far, I'm enjoying both of my books. Definitely Jilted, I'm enjoying a little bit more. But that's okay, you know? They all can't be winners as much as we wish them to be. So I'm going to leave it at that. So let's do the quest calendar, and then I will move on. So we were attacking the heart in Glatanic. So let's see what today brings. Oh, weird. Okay. Oh my God. I don't know what just happened. It's all, look at this. It's all like pixelated. It looks like video game art. I mean, I know that sometimes they have different artists, but to suddenly like shift in that type of artwork, I don't necessarily enjoy that. I like it to be somewhat cohesive, even if it is different art styles. This is like utterly drastic from all the other art that we've seen. But anyway, blood vessels in the Glatanic begin to rupture. The internal organs are failing, and the structure of the beast is collapsing. You need to escape from the inside of the creature. So escape the creature. This is a D100 evasion and reminder piloting. Cool. So all right, let me look at our ship character sheet as I knock things over. My goodness, I'm just having a moment right now. Please ignore me. All right, our evasion is a +10. That's very good. Okay, but I feel like evasion isn't as necessary. So, okay. Escape the creature. You will need 5 successes before you can fully escape from the creature. Repeat this roll until you have enough. All right, so we will just jump right into it. I need to move this closer so I can see what we're doing. So 97. So we had a +10. So 107. Okay, if the result is 76 or more, you have found a shortcut through some connective tissue. Gain 2 successes. Cool. So 2 of the 5. So next roll is 86. So once again, we are above the 76. So another 2 successes. So we have 4 of the 5. Final roll is a 67 on the die. So that puts us at 77. Whoa, which is just enough. So we made it in the 3 rolls. Perfect. So once you have 5 successes, you exit from one of the creature's orifices to find the beast has pulled away from the planet Athelia. It floats limply out in space. There is much damage to the surface of the planet, but many lives have been saved. You hear the fleet of ships celebrating this victory over the radios. Good. Good. So hopefully, I don't know if we'll stick around. I feel like we'll probably stick around for a few days and try to help with cleanup and getting the planet kind of back into order a little bit before moving on. But we shall see what tomorrow brings. So I'm going to leave it at that. I feel like I've been talking a lot, but that's because I had to pause and take a phone call in between. But I will see you hopefully tomorrow on Wednesday. Happy hump day. I hope you have a good Wednesday. I'll see you soon. Hello, happy Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. It's been a couple days. Wednesday night, I did not film Not that it matters. I'm not apologizing for filming. But I did not film, in case you were wondering, because I sat down at like 6 o'clock, I think, to do a reading sprint. And about 30 minutes in, I fell asleep. So I woke up at like 9 o'clock, asleep on the couch, and was like, oh my gosh. Totally slept through my alarms at 8:30 to feed the kitty dinner and give her her medicine. So I was like, crap. So I got up and I gave her her food and I took a shower and then I went straight back to bed. So yeah, and then last night I was kind of in a funk, and then I was doing a reading sprint, and then I was just kind of like, I was in a funky mood, and I didn't want to film because we'll talk about it in a moment, but I finished a book during the reading sprint, and let's just say it didn't end well, and I was kind of angry, and I didn't want to film a clip when I was very frustrated with it, because I didn't want to like rake this book over the coals in my feelings in the moment. So I ended up going to bed early again. So it's Friday now. But we're gonna jumble things up a little bit. I do have 2 packages I wanted to open with you. One of them, I got my fortune cookie soap subscription box, but in case there's stuff I want to put on my hands, we will wait and do that for a moment. But I also had to order some new planner stickers, and I like to get them from Orange Umbrella. I'll link them down below. You can, if you order a certain amount, get free shipping, but I was like, I just needed a few items. So I just got what I needed. And it was still only like $3 shipping. Like, it's not ridiculous anything. But I figured I'd show you. A lot of this you've seen before. But I figured if you haven't seen my sticker purchases before, we can check them out. So I did need to get a couple. I went ahead and got 2 just to be on the safe side, but I am almost out of my YouTube stickers for when I where I post videos. I probably only needed 1 to get through the rest of the year, but I went ahead and bought 2. But I like using these, and I'll probably use them moving into next year, no matter what printer or what planner I get. So I figured I would get these. And then I needed to do new, because I have 2 different tones. I have this normal like rainbow tone that's similar to this that I keep track of in my planner for all my weekly vlog clips. But then I have this off, like slightly muted color palette rainbow. And these are flags that I use to denote when I film videos that are for like one-offs, so like TBRs, things like that, or readathons. And I only got 1 of these because I wasn't sure how many things I was going to participate in. But so I needed another sheet of this. However, I decided I'm going to use these for one-offs. And when I was looking at some of their other stickers, I found this really cute, also like muted rainbow book stack one. Now I do have a couple of these in a different color palette or in a slightly different icon, but they don't have them anymore. But I thought this I could use, since I'm not doing blog posts for this year. I'll try to get back to doing blog posts next year. There was too much, and I didn't want to have to kind of restart it. So I was like, I'm giving myself the year, and then 2024 will come back, and I want to get back into writing like full reviews again. But there just was a lot going on at the end of last year and this year. So I was like, we will come back full force in 2024. But I had some of these similar type stickers that I used to my blog posts on my planner, but I haven't used them. So I'm going to switch over, and if it's a readathon, I'm going to use these tags. So they're a completely different color, or even if they're not a completely different color, they're a completely different icon. And then I'll use specifically these for like one-off videos or something like that. And then I do still have my Christmas icons. I got a little pack of like, I think it has 25 Christmas icons if I do Vlogmas. So hopefully this should be what I need to at least get me through the rest of the year, and then I can kind of reassess and go from there. But it looks like I also got a little packet of freebies, so let's look at those. So it looks like here's some little rainbow parts, both outline and solid. That's cute. And then these are just, it looks like a couple little washi things and like a flower. So just a couple cute little stickers. This looks like a flag of some sort. And then, ooh, wine time, red and white. So that's fun. I don't do planner in that type of way, but it's cute to have them. And then these are like little flower note box. Those are cute. And then a little thing of stuff that says goals, which is cute. And I do have some goals that I just kind of hand wrote, but I haven't really looked too much at because I go off of the goals that I have in my digital journal. But that's cute to have, so I can stick that in, like do like monthly goals or something like that maybe next year. But that's cute. All right. Love it. Love it when these small shops give freebies. So like I said, I'll link them down below. I think you can also get their stuff on Etsy, but I just buy stuff from their website. So perfect. Fun. And then this, I think, is just my invoice. Make sure there's no other notes. No. Okay. So I can recycle that. All right. So let us talk about books. Next. So, okay. Wednesday, I did finish the audiobook for Keeping Mr. Right by Robin Beelman. I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. I thought, the third act breakup, and there was an actual breakup. It wasn't just a conflict. You could see it coming. Where it took me down from the 4 stars is really the heroine. No joke, they were like starting to get really steamy with each other. She stayed at his place after like event planning, hosting this like cocktail party at his beach house that he's renting. And no joke, like they're starting to get hot and heavy. And Sophie, like in her brain, in her POV, was saying something like, I can't believe, like, is he really attracted to me? Or it was still a thing. And I was like, girl, we're 70% in. We know he's attracted to you. He has rubbed his heart on against you multiple times at this point. Like, get with the program. He is attracted to you. I was just like, girl, like I legit said out loud, girl, we are 70% in. I was like, he is attracted to you. So I was just like, oh my gosh. So, and just her overdone insecurities. And I feel like the conflict with her parents either should have been more or a lot less. Like it just didn't quite get to where we needed to go. I liked Zane. I thought he also thought he wasn't good enough for her because, he didn't graduate from college. He's a beach bum. We also kind of get some insight to, not only was his dad verbally abusive to him and constantly calling him a dumbass, but when Zane left, he then kind of turned on his mother, and we find out that he hit her, and it was only the once, and it was never again. But he does a lot of charity work and donates money to like a local women's shelter kind of a situation. So I really enjoyed Zane's character. He was a little pig-headed, but I understood why, because, the third act conflict is he's talking with his sister, and his sister had just gotten a cancer diagnosis. And so that's kind of been a thing where he's been distracted because he's thinking about his sister and the surgeries and what's going to happen. And Sophie has done some like event planning charity stuff before with like the American Cancer Association or Foundation or whatever. And so that's another thing that like she's able to step up for him, is to kind of help give them some guidance on who they can talk to. Which is fine, but her fiance surprises her and is like, let's just get married now. Let's do it before your surgery. I want to get married to you. And so he shows up and he's like, let's get married now. And he takes her to where like they had their first date kind of a situation, or where they met. And she's telling the story to Zane about how their mom was there and they got this all set up. And Zane feels like really brokenhearted that he wasn't notified, he wasn't told, and he wanted to be there. And it's not like he was off in Europe or on some big surfing tour. Like, he's there for this film festival, and yeah, he had to be there. But do you think, like, I'm sure he could have gotten away with, yeah, I gotta leave early, or I gotta leave late, or whatever, I have to leave, I can't be there the entire time, or I'm coming late because my sister's getting married. And I'm sure everything, the people he's trying to get the ambassadorship with, like, all, like, I'm sure they would have been like, yeah, no, you're cool, we'll see you later, go to your sister's wedding. But like, he wasn't even invited. And so on top of feeling guilty that, you know, he misses a lot of their life because he is, you know, surfing takes him around the world a lot and he's gone a lot. He just was really kind of in his head about the fact that he wasn't even invited or told till after the fact, and he would have tried to be there, and he's only like an hour away or something crazy. So I felt so bad. And then his sister starts asking about Sophie, and he is so hurt by his sister, and he's like trying not to, you know, let his emotions show over the phone about how hurt he is about the fact that he wasn't invited to the wedding. And I was like, just tell her. And then he's so like hurt about the situation, and then that kind of makes him feel like he's not good enough again, and he's spiraling a little bit. So then he's just like, no, it's just a one-time fling. She's not, you know, the girls I typically date, which is true. But, you know, that's where we get into the she's like no other kind of trope. Which, you know, I get she's not a beach bunny. But of course, you know, this is after the first time they went all the way together. So yeah, I enjoyed it. But some of the stuff with Sophie just kind of really was like, really? So that kind of popped it down a little bit for me. So 3.5 stars, but I did round it up to 4 stars on Goodreads. So I'm going to stop blabbering about it there. I thought the audiobook was pretty good too. I'm definitely intrigued to read more in the series. So for Gildathon, I use this for Harmony, which is one of the prompts is like characters who get along really well, or there's like a harmonious feeling. And, you know, since this was kind of an insta-lovey situation, it definitely worked with the surfing vibe or whatever. I also mark this as a sports romance for surfing because he is a surfer and it's a pretty big part of the book. So I was like, that's fun. I don't think I've read like a surfing sports romance before, which is cool. For Summer Reading Challenge, I applied this to read a book with a beach theme. For Ripped Bodice Summer Bingo, I applied this to a body of water on the cover. For the 2023 Summer Musical Tour, I applied this to the All-American Rejects for their Wet Hot All-American Summer Tour, and that is the same of water on the cover or in the story. For Read the Season, I applied this to Holiday Number 2 for the letter R. And then for Little Cafe Readathon, I applied this to Team Strawberry for Strawberry Daiquiri, and that's a set at a hot location. And this is on the beach in California. So I was like, it's hot enough. It's not like desert, but it's warmer weather for sure. Okay, So, I finished that on Wednesday. I did start an audiobook on Thursday, but we're going to talk about the book I finished Thursday night and then go back and talk about the book I started at work on Thursday. So, last night I finished Jilted. I was reading along. I was like, 4 stars. You know, we'll see what's kind of going on. We'll see how things evolve. We had the week long of Devin and Josh at this island, taking a vacation that was supposed to be his honeymoon. And on the last night, they finally kind of give in to their building attraction. And I mean, they like reconnect like this. They've both kind of have come to the realization that they're not really over their past relationship. And Josh very quickly is like, I love Allie. I will always love Allie, but I wasn't ever like in love with her. I was more kind of pushed around, and we were dating, and it seemed like everybody in our small town and our parents were like, wanted us to get married, and that was like the natural step to do. And he definitely had to come to some realizations of like, I'm stunned, and it feels bad to be rejected in the way that I was rejected, aka left at the altar, but I'm not like heartbroken about the fact that Allie and I are not together. I'm more heartbroken about how the situation happened the way it happened. And I was just like, okay, you know, so it didn't definitely feel weird. Plus he's, you know, going back to Devin, and he definitely was thinking about her a lot leading up to the wedding. He asked her to stay in town. They have some talks about how he's a firefighter, and when his father passed away, his mother's been kind of struggling with their landscaping business. And I was just like, they're talking about things, and I'm like, yep, I used to be the office manager at a landscaping and maintenance business. Theirs is a little different as well. It seems like they have their own greenhouse and stuff, so it's not like exactly the situation I did. But when they were talking about like the financials and the cash flow problems and like the customers and like getting paid and all of that stuff, I was like, yep, that's all pretty spot on of what we go through, and how you have to kind of make sure that you have enough kind of set aside to get you through the slower months in winter, especially if you're not getting snow and all of that. And I'm like, yep. Right. Yep. So that was very well done. But so, you know, poor Josh, he works as a firefighter long hours. And then when he's not doing that, he's like single-handedly trying to keep this landscaping business open and still functioning and viable. And he's stepping in to help work because they struggle with people wanting to work the job, which I think that's one of the biggest reasons why my boss decided to sell the business, is because he was in his 60s, late 60s, and he was having to go out and mow some of these routes because, you know, people just don't want to work, let alone hard work like that outside all day. So, you know, I totally understood that. I was enjoying it. It wasn't perfect, but I was like, 4 stars. Okay, time for our reading sprint. Sat down. I was like 81%. I can finish this last remaining bit of the book. I have now given it a 2.5 star. I marked it as 2 stars on Goodreads, and I really wanted to like drop it down even lower, if not just leave it at a 2 star, but I decided to up it to 2.5 because I did really enjoy 81% of this book. That last 20% though, I had issues. I had a lot of issues. We have more of Susan kind of saying things to Devin, and I'm like, Susan, this is the first time you've met Devin. I get that you have a relationship with her father, but maybe you shouldn't quite be butting in this situation, especially since you don't really know Devin. We also get some, you know, because Devin wants to go back to Boston. That was her plan. She'll stay and help out. She also kind of starts to maybe breach a better relationship with her father. And then her father says some things about how, she's throwing away a potential love and great relationship with Josh because she's trying to please her mother. And, do all these things that, her mother wanted and live in the big city. And he says these, and then Josh says some pretty bad stuff to Devin, and then she kind of, is like, fine, I'll just go back to Boston now. And then she stops and she sits on the beach and she realizes, that she has some things to work through, and she goes to apologize to her father, and she goes to apologize to Josh, and everybody kind of agrees that she's the problem. And yeah, that's how it ends. And then her and Josh are together. Now, my issues with this are several things. Yes, if multiple people are pointing out a problem to you, you probably do have an issue, and that's something that you need to work through. However, there is no talk, no groveling, no full apologizing from her father. Devin straight out says a couple times in this book that she thinks her father hates her. And the reason why she couldn't wait to go to college and move out of his house is because she thought he hated her. When she comes back after her time on the beach, she flat out says to her father, "You've never once told me that you loved me." And he goes, "That was a mistake." That is what her father says. I'm sorry. She's like 29 or something like that. She's practically 30 years old. And her father has never told her that he loves her. And his response is that was a mistake. And now everything's all good. No, I don't care. I don't care what type of relationship. Like, it's a strained relationship. I have a strained relationship with my father. And it is hard enough as it is. But he does say that he loves me. He does say, "Love you, kiddo." He does say, he gives me hugs and he says he loves me. I mean, there are definitely still times where I feel like I'm more of an obligation to him, but that's more on me. But he at least tells me he loves me. I cannot believe that everything with her father is going to be hunky-dory. It was my mistake. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I can't believe I never said that to you. I didn't realize that I never said that to you. I can't impress to you how much I do love you as a daughter. No, his response is that it was a mistake, or that was my mistake, or something like that. So, I mean, there's more that happens in the situation, but that was like a sticking point for me, that when she comes out with this, not only does she think that her father hates her, but she doesn't even broach with him. She tells Josh this. Josh knows that she thinks her father hates her. But let's talk about Josh. She apologizes to Josh. She tells Josh what her father said. And he says, "Yeah, I kind of thought the same thing." About, how her wanting what she wanted in life was all to get her mom to come back and to be into her life. First of all, she's never tried to contact her mom when she had her job and was super successful and an up and coming investment banker. She never reached out to her mom. She never thought about reaching out to her mom. We also have moments where she's talking about her job, like when her and Josh are on the island in their little vacation resort, about how he's remembering how she used to talk about her job and how much she loved her job and really enjoyed what she did, and just really enjoyed those things. And when he asked her to stay, he's like, I know that we don't have the type of job that you want. And so it's, yeah, maybe subconsciously she was going to the city to do, because that something was like, this is what her mom wanted. I'm not wanted in this small town. Maybe this is where I need to be. Whatever subconsciousness is happening there. But outside of all that, she actually loves her job. And Josh made a point to mention a couple times in the story about how much he realizes she loves what she does as a job, and how he knows that she is, if he asks her to stay, she will have to sacrifice that part of her enjoyment in life, is that she does enjoy doing her job. And yes, it's stressful and she works long hours, but how much joy she gets from doing it. And for them to also then suddenly say that, yeah, everything she did was to get her mother back, I was just like, And Josh was like, yeah, no. Josh does apologize. He says when she goes through her thing and she's like, so I'm sorry. And he says, I'm sorry too. And then everything's fine. And I'm like, what are you sorry for? Like, let's be honest. You can't put all of your previous breakup on her. And I guess he did ask her to come with her. And she, because she was taught with her father not to share her emotions and to pretend everything's fine. And so she didn't. She said, like, she didn't tell him that she didn't chase after him. Because she was scared, and she felt like, he suddenly wasn't wanting her. And, and he was so worried about taking care of his family, and she kind of felt like he didn't think of her as family. Like, he's willing to sacrifice so much of himself and his life and what he wants out of life for his family. But yeah, he wasn't willing to sacrifice anything to stay in a relationship with her. So that was really hard. So he at least apologized to her, but, and he mentions that it was on both of them. But he wasn't the one that had to go through and pretend that he did all of this soul searching and he's so much better and he's willing to fight. And I'm like, first of all, like, I would have liked for him to come out and say what he was sorry for and more recognize what he did and how he hurt her and how he didn't fight for her just as much as she wasn't willing to fight for him because she didn't want to be hurt, because he was already hurting her by wanting to leave the situation. So, I just got so angry. And then I took a picture of it. Let me pull it up. The last line in the book. The last freaking line in the book. Let me see. I know I took a picture of it. I don't see that it saved to my Google, but it was something like, and now she was hoping that she was good enough for him or something like that. And I was just like, this is the last line we're going to leave this book at. This is the last line. They're cuddling in bed after, having makeup sex. And she tells him I hope I can live up to, I don't know, I hope I'm good enough for you, or what, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's something like that. And I was like, all right. So, you know, now that I'm talking about it again, I want to rate it 2 stars or even 1.5 stars. I can't tell you how, especially with the father stuff. Josh, at least I can get by, but the father stuff and just, you know, everything being put on Devin. And it's like, yeah, she needs some therapy. She has some things to work through. But how can her father pass any judgment when he doesn't know her as a person? Oh, and apparently he did know that her and Josh dated and they were in love and it was like a super serious relationship. And he was just fine letting his new girlfriend talk about how perfect Josh and this other woman are and had no care about how that made his daughter feel. So you know what? You know what? Screw it. I'm going to give it 2 stars. And I'll just put on Goodreads 4 stars until 81%. Final rating is a 2 star. And I might write some things down, but that last 20%, man, it just got my goat. But let's move on. Let's talk about happier things. So, yesterday at work, I wanted to pick up a new audiobook. And one of my summer reading challenge prompts that I have still remaining is read a book that they've done a quick shot episode for. So I was looking through my spreadsheet real quick to see if there's anything that I have marked on my TBR that I was thinking of picking up. And then I saw a specific book and I thought, oh, perfect, because there's also a prompt that says have a beverage that is inspired by your current read, or share a picture of a beverage that's inspired by your current read, or something like that. Basically, pair a drink with the book you're reading. And then I was like, ooh, does Hoopla or Libby have the audiobook for it? And it did. So I picked it up. And I was able to listen to a little bit today as well. So yes, so I read it yesterday and today. And I am 30% in, as you can see, but I picked up Give Love a Try by Nancy Wen. This is a part of the Smarty Pants romance. This is the second book in the Common Thread series. I have not read the first one, but these are definitely intercollected standalones. This is the one, Common Threads is one of the one that associates with the Knitting in the City series. I haven't quite gotten to how this connects with the Knitting in the City series outside of it set in the same city, but we'll see if any of the other Knitting in the City characters pop up or she goes to the yarn store, because I'm assuming that's why they're supposed to be connected, is something with, because it's Common Thread. So I'm guessing the knitting store or knitting circle or something like that we might have a connection with. But anyway, I started this. I have the first book in this series, but I haven't read that one. But they're different authors. It's not one of the Smarty Pants romance series where it's all by the same author. I am loving this so far. Well, it's also kind of set. We have some Boston. It's set in Boston, so that's crazy because I've read. I feel like the last 3 or 4 books I've read have either someone who's coming from Boston or is currently living in Boston, which is weird. So apparently it's like Boston contemporary romance time or something, but I'm having fun. I didn't really know much about this, but I was totally not expecting what the premise of this was. So we have Tia, who her Chinese name is Ting Ting. I haven't quite figured out. I know her parents immigrated from Beijing, but I couldn't tell if she was born in America or if she immigrated with her parents. But in the beginning of the book, she is freaking out and she's super nervous because she has to approach Andrew, who is her old childhood best friend, as well as an old beau they used to date. And she's super nervous about approaching him because she has a situation she has to take care of because she was talking with her lawyers and she has to deal with it. So I'm just like, what's gonna happen? What is happening right now? She's so nervous. She's so cute. I love her to death. and she has to file him with divorce papers because when they were in college, they got married in Vegas on a whim because they were going to love each other forever. And then there was a situation and they were going to get divorced. And apparently now she's had a lawyer looking into things and realized something wasn't filed properly. So they are technically still married. So she is approaching him after 10 years of not seeing him, I think is how long it's been, and is like, we're still technically married. I need you to sign these divorce papers. Andrew, of course, she's the one that got away, and he proposes. I'm not going to sign it yet. Let's see if we can rekindle our relationship. And Tia freaks out and runs. Like, she leaves her shoes at his house, as well as the divorce papers and her coat, and she just leaves. And there's this really funny, cute rant where she talks about how, like, there's all of these weird knickknacks at the airport, but they don't have any useful items, like shoes. And apparently when she was getting on the plane, she was like, it was so embarrassing, but, like, the stewardesses and the, like, airport personnel were like, you have time to go back to security to get your shoes if you left your shoes there. And she just didn't tell him. She was just like, no, it's fine, I don't want to miss my flight, kind of a thing. And I was just like, I just love her. She just gets so nervous in certain situations, and she just does like really bonkers things. But I don't know. I'm having so much fun with this. This is the first book I read by Nancy Wen, and I am having so much fun with this. But when she gets back home, Andrew kind of finally chases her down. He finally figures out, and she is now a professor at MIT. And so he shows up, and he's like, first of all, here's your shoes and your coat. And let's talk about the divorce papers without you running away from me. And then someone that Josh used to, or not Josh, weird, Andrew used to work with. He is a lawyer, and this other man is a lawyer. His name is Clayton. And surprise, Clayton is, he's from the Davenports. His father's a U.S. Senator. He is, one of those affluent families, think Kennedys, Rockefellers, that type of situation. And he is Tia's new fiance. And his mother wanted to do prenup stuff. And so when Tia, retained a lawyer and was having him go over things, he was like, you're married? And so that kind of spiraled out all of this. Now, we are at 30%. First of all, Clayton's mother is horrendous and slightly, well, more than slightly racist. And Clayton kind of ish stands up for her, but he's also kind of like, my mother is who she is. We just have to like let her do her thing and then ignore her. Which I get, that's how he gets along with his mother. But I'm sorry, but when your mother is degrading your future wife, you're really going to sit there and let her say these things? So, I was like, Clayton's not a bad guy, but you could tell that they were doing what should be done, and they aren't like in passionate love with each other. It's more like a friends and they love each other, but they're not in love with each other kind of a thing. So already, like I said, 30%, I think maybe around the 25-ish%, since finding out that she was married, she hasn't kissed Clayton. She feels weird about the situation. When she brings the divorce papers, there's an NDA about not talking about the divorce. Clayton's mother wants to do a like background check on her and like go like super crazy into things. And Clayton's like, let's take a break. Or no, she says, let's take a break. But Clayton's like, I don't want something amalgamous. We're done. Once you figure out what you want, if you decide that you want to be in a relationship with me and not Andrew, we can go from there and we can have a discussion at that point. But you need to figure out what you want to do, because he kind of forces a confrontation between the three because he notices there's a weird vibe, and he thought that they were just like ex-beaux and childhood friends or whatever. And then Andrew also happened to work with Clayton in the past, which is weird, that, you know, he was working at this law office and that was how Tia met Clayton, is because one of her best friends, Pippa, also worked at this law office, but somehow she never ran into Andrew, which is crazy that they've just kind of always been circling around each other. And so now they're at the point where they're gonna see where this goes, but they both are definitely, when they see each other, are like, I really loved you, and I haven't really felt love like that for anyone else. And Andrew was 100% on board, like, let's try this. So it's kind of marriage in trouble-ish. I mean, they both thought they were divorced. But so, you know, I'm enjoying it. I'm loving the humor. I'm loving the vibe. And I'm excited now that we kind of got the Clayton situation taken care of. We can really kind of focus on, because we know Endgame is Tia and Andrew. It has to be Tia and Andrew. I haven't even looked at the entire back of it is Andrew. So I'm just excited to see where this goes. And the audiobook is great so far. I'm having a super fun time. So yeah, I definitely plan on getting some stuff done around the house this weekend and listening to Give Love a Chai. And I plan on, if not tonight, then tomorrow, making up some chai tea so I can also knock out another Buzzing About Romance Summer Reading Challenge prompt. So there is that. Then, as for ebook, after finishing Jilted last night, I was like, I need something. I have a couple other books on my TBR that I have to get done this month, and none of them sounded like I knew they would be good kind of a situation. I was like, I need something I know will be good, that'll make me kind of feel better. I was in a weird headspace. I was like, I need to pick up something different. So I looked at what I already had checked out on KU, and I almost went with Alessa Thorne, but I was just like, you know what? No. Even though it's like 100 and something pages longer, I'm just going to go for it. So I picked up The Beauty and Scars by M.L. Philpott. This is the third book in her Fractured Ever After series. I wanted to pick this up in May because it released like the final day or the day after the Mafia Romance Readathon. If you haven't seen my vlog, but I read the first two books in this series, and that I'll pop it up there for you. But this is Mafia Romance retellings, fairy tale retellings, and this one is Beauty and the Beast, as you can probably tell. And first of all, when this book started, I totally forgot that Maurice was a side character and did not put together that Maurice was going to be Belle's father. Like, I was just like, how did I miss that in the previous books? And that Raphael was going to be the hero in this one. I was just like, oh my gosh, I am so silly. So I just was like, oh my gosh. But she is a librarian. Maurice has kind of kept her hidden. We see a moment where Maurice, that happens in the second book, where Maurice approaches Raphael and Rosen, and he's just like, you have to protect her. DeFalco found out about her somehow, and he ends up getting killed before he can say what he knows about DeFalco, which is like the big bad guy that we've been dealing with the first two books. And so Raphael is like, what is he talking about? Maurice has never been married. He doesn't have kids or whatever. So they go to Maurice's house, and they find, and Raphael finds Isabel there, and she just happens to be there because that is her weekly dinner with Dad, and it's rough. It's rough because she doesn't believe it. She's really struggling to comprehend the situation that her father's dead, and it's hard. Yeah, that was a little tough for me to read. While I didn't have quite the exact same situation, the disbelief and numbness and beginning of grief when you lose a parent, especially someone that you're really, really close to. And we know nothing about her mother, but so that was a little hard to get through because it just brought up so many past emotions and recollections in me. But it was so well done. It was so well done. But she is a librarian. She was homeschooled, so she has like no records anywhere, weirdly. But because she was homeschooled, she was able to like get her high school degree, so to speak, super early. And then she was in college, so she's like only in like her mid to late 20s, and she is just finishing up her PhD, or no, her master's in library science or something like that. But she works at a local library, and there is, I can't remember his name. It starts with a G. It's not Gaston. But it is the Gaston character. And he is a gentleman who has gotten quite a few tickets for illegally hunting. And I mean, he even says something to her about, how could you read that book? It has no pictures or something like that. Like, there's so many nods to the Disney movie where I'm just like, oh my gosh. And she talks about how, yeah, I bet he's so annoying, and he's there because he got one too many tickets for illegal hunting. And so now he's forced to do community service, and he was kind of forced to come here, and he's constantly trying to like hit on her. And she's just like, I'm not into you. She is a virgin, but you know what? With the situation of how, she's kind of kept isolated her entire life, and she just moved out of her father's house a couple months ago. So, she's been very, very isolated and kept away from a lot of the world. And her only real human interaction and relationship that she has had is with her father. I love this series. I got 20% in last night, and I cannot wait to pick it back up tonight. I plan on reading it for the reading sprints that are happening tonight for Little Cafe Readathon. I'm just... So Raphael shows back up later that night because he's worried about her, and he catches somebody in her bushes trying to get to her, so he kills him, and then he kind of forces his way in and, finds her curled up on the floor with her phone with a text to her dad asking him, where he is, if he's still coming for dinner, because, she's in denial about the situation, and ends up kind of passing out because she's not in a good situation. And he hangs out with her, and he ends up picking up some like Twilight-esque love triangle young adult book, and she's just like, you were reading my books. And he was like, there was nothing to do, and you've been asleep for like 9 hours. So I was just like, oh my gosh, that's funny. So he kind of makes fun of her for all of her books, and she has books everywhere. But so he has kind of convinced her that she needs to stay with him for her safety, which is true, but they're also hoping they can learn some information from her. But I'm guessing that whatever information she knows, she doesn't know that it's information, kind of a thing. So I'm just excited. She has these like moments where she's like super shy, and she's never been that close to a man that she's like attracted to, and she's only ever been close with her father, so she doesn't know about, like, she feels weird with these like new touches kind of a situation. But then she has these moments of like complete sass, and I'm just like, I'm loving this. The fourth book just recently came out, and that one is The Freedom in Captivity, and that's the Rapunzel retelling. And then she finally, because the fourth book is out, she wasn't announcing anything about the fifth book until the fourth book was out, because there's some spoilers and information that we know that's coming up for the fifth book. The fifth book comes out in the next couple of months, I think, or later this year. I think September. And that is the Little Mermaid retelling with Ariel and Erico. I cannot freaking wait. And we still don't know about book 6. Book 6 has been written. ML Philpott has said that she's already started her new series, but she's going to wait until book 5 is published, because, in book 5 is where we'll meet the hero for the last book. The last book is still just initials for the letters. And I'm just like, I want to know everything. What retelling are we getting there? I am obsessed with the series, as you can tell. This one has just grabbed me in once again. And, I am a bookish person. We all have our connection with Belle and Beauty and the Beast retellings, and so far so good. And I'm loving the little nods to specifically the Disney film as well. And I'm kicking myself a little bit for not picking it up, but this was definitely the right choice to go with this dark mafia book right after the mess that was Jilted. And I cannot wait to read more of it. So we are at 50 minutes. Oh my gosh, we are at 50 minutes. Oh my gosh. I just can't. This is what happens when I don't talk to you for like more than 2 days. Okay. Let's move on. Ow. I just whacked my knee. I totally biffed it today at work. It was bad. It was really bad. I like home plate slid because I was carrying boxes in the back to blow them off and clean them. And I tripped over a blower because I didn't see a huge blower sitting on the floor. And because I was carrying boxes and couldn't see my feet, and man, it biffed. And my knee has been fine, but I just whacked it, and that hurts. So I think if I touch or mess with my knee, because I think that was like my first initial point of contact with the cement floor, that hurt a little bit, but it's fine. But now I'm like touching it, and now I'm like, don't touch it because then that hurts. So we'll see. Hopefully I'm not like sore or like swollen or anything super crazy tomorrow. So let's do the quest calendar, and then I'll do the fortune cookie soap, hopefully really quickly. So we have some catch up to do. Tuesday, we are trying to escape the Glutanic as we have destroyed its heart and things are collapsing. Oh, okay. I guess we just escape. Here we are. All right, a ceremony is held to honor the fallen pilots that fought in the battle against the planet-eating creature. Your crew is called to the stage and rewarded for their bravery and skills in thwarting the Glutanic and saving the planet. Pick one item to take as a reward. Perfect. So we have the Pulse Gauntlet, which is gloves that gives us +1 strength and +1 damage. The Pulse Pads, which are boots, which gives us +1 strength and +1 to attack. And Pulse Absorber, which is an equipment upgrade, which gives us +1 strength and +2 health. So all of this is strength. I am leaning towards attack over the other 2 items. But let me look at my equipment list and see if we have boots. We do not. We are not wearing boots. So I'm going to take the boots, Pulse Pads. So I will go to the back. And there we go. We're wearing those. Okay, perfect. So we'll just move on. Yep, and there's no other notes on the back. So let's do yesterday's. So Thursdays. Okay, all right, look. We get options to hire new crew members. All right. Some citizens from Athelia no longer have a home and wish to travel with you. They admire your crew and what you have done for the planet. So there's a scout drone, which gives integrity and the stealthy skill. And there's demolitionist, which gives an integrity and also the locksmith skill. Okay, so let me look. I think we have stealthy. We don't have stealthy, and we don't have locksmith. I definitely think I want to get the scout drone because he gives us the stealthy, which could be very useful. And it looks like we can only hire one more crew. So and they cost 20... yeah, it costs 20 credits. So we can only do one unless we want to remove one of our other guys. We could replace the detective because that gives us investigator, and I feel like we don't use investigator as much. But I think... But I don't know. Locksmith is typically a dexterity skill, and we have a really good dexterity. So I'm just going to do the scout drone. So we will hire the scout drone for 20 credits. And he is going to go into... Whoop! I love that these are reusable stickers. All right, so our scout drone is in the weapons compartment. So I'll have to update those information as well. But we'll just move on since these are super quick. I love it that they're super quick. Okay, so it looks like we are going to move forward. The planet Abramia is in the Sarvix X77 system. Traveling there by ship alone, even with a void spark engine, would take too long. Warp gates provide faster travel at a modest price. Can you exploit the flaw in the system to trick the scanners into thinking you've prepaid? So 1 is emulate the signal of a paid ship, and B is hack the warp gate computers. Okay, so emulate the signal of a paid ship. This is wisdom, reminder, engineering. So let me go back to my character sheet here. So we do have engineering, and our wisdom is a +4. So we get a +6. So I will grab this. All right, and that is a 1. So we are going to use our time step skill to reroll because we can literally do no worse. All right, that is a 15. So what was it, a +6? Yes, a +6. So we are at 21. So if the result is 15 or more, using the equipment on board the Karnak, you are able to emulate the signal and trick the system scanners into thinking you have paid for the fare. I mean, we could pay for the fare. We have ridiculous amounts of gold right now, or credits. Sorry, credits. So B, hack the warp gate computers. So intellect, reminder, computers. So we do have computers, and our intellect is a +1. So this is a total of +3. And that is a 13. So 16 total. It was on a 1 and then it fell back to the 3. I was gonna be nervous. Okay. If the result is 15 or more, you hack into the computers of the warp gate system and switch the flag for your entry to paid without actually having to pay. Okay, cool. I don't know why we have to do like it twice, but whatever. That's just what they do. Okay, so let's do fortune cookie soap real quick. And then we will end this weekly vlog. And I'm just, you know what, we're just going to be over an hour. So it is what it is. We're at 57 minutes. I have no idea what this monthly box is. If you haven't seen me unbox Fortune Cookie Soap before, it is a Bath and Body Works small business based out of Oklahoma. They do a monthly subscription box. I believe it is $19.95 a month. I am grandfathered into the previous price, so I'm not 100% sure. But it is sent around the 12th of each month, and they do mini collections. So this is a good way to get little samples of different types of products and get the scents before they do the full collection launch, typically at the end of the month. And you also get a $10 off of $25 coupon that gets sent when things ship. That's good for 30 days. So, oh, apparently the July box is Hot Girl Summer. So as you can see, July 28th is when the extended collection launches at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I'll have them linked down below. So on the back is all of our scent descriptions, but I like to smell things first. It does look like they have changed their stickers. They used to have a set of 4 different stickers, but last month was just one vinyl sticker. And when I checked their website, it was just the one design. And this one is another vinyl sticker. So I feel like they've changed their stickers up. So here's Hot Girl Summer. And it is a nice vinyl sticker, a good thickness, cute. So we've got themed tissue paper, and let me just kind of glance. It looks like this is just 4 items, so this should be pretty quick to go through. So let's just do it. So Keeping It Cool Alleluia Skin Gel. I love their aloe. It is so nice. I have a bottle of their aloe in my fridge. It is so great, especially on these hot days. I like to use their aloe, especially once, like if it's cooled down, for my lotion as instead, because it's super thin, it's super hydrating, and it's really nice and cool. So let's see what it smells like. I love this. It's like a pale blue aqua color. Ooh. I'm getting, woo. Okay, there's like mint maybe menthol, something like that. It's got that like extra little cooling zhuzh, but I feel like outside of that, it's definitely sugary and it's got like a tropical fruit in it for sure. I like that. I like that a lot. That smells really great. Ooh, my sinuses have cleared a little bit with that menthol. There's got to be like menthol or eucalyptus or something in there. So let's see what it says. Keeping it cool. You can turn up the heat this summer, but remember to always keep it cool. Chill out with juicy pineapples infused with mint and sweet sugar crystals. And it does say product contains menthol. So I'm pretty smack dab on. I love it when I get my descriptions right. Okay, so we will come next. So this is Tanned Tipsy Tanning Oil. Well, this is something I probably won't use because I don't really, like, I tan super easily, but I, like, don't go out and tan. I might see if my boss might use this because I know she does tanning stuff. But let's see if it has a smell. Oh, okay, yeah, no, there's definitely some vanilla-ish scents. I'm getting some sort of, like, musk or amber. Definitely, maybe like coconut milk. Like it's not a strong coconut. And then something kind of slightly citrusy. It's a good scent. I would give this scent like 4 out of 5. This one I would give 5 out of 5. This one I'd do more 4. I think the musk or the amber, whatever it might be, is definitely very light and like more of a base in this and not as overpowering, but you can tell it at first sniff. But let's see here. Tanned and Tipsy. I can't talk right now. I'm doing hot girl shit. A tropical blend of acai, coconut, tonka bean, sandalwood, and exotic musk swirled with creamy coconut and banana and a touch of orange nectar. If you could put summer in a bottle, this would be it. I don't quite get all of those notes, but I did get the coconut. Although it wasn't a prominent coconut. The tonka bean is probably what I thought the vanilla was. And then there is sandalwood and musk. So that's the like amber or musky scent I was getting. So, and then orange. So you know what? Hey, that's all of it. Let's move on. Sunny Days Purifying Conditioner. So this is a little bottle. Let's see. Whoa. It's like a gray lavenderish color. Oh, this is eucalyptus. And then something citrusy. And maybe something else, but eucalyptus and citrus is what I'm getting. Interesting. I wonder what makes it purifying. I wonder if there's charcoal in this. Let's see. Water. Oh, there's aloe in this. Weird. There's aloe vera leaf juice. Interesting. Camellia, so green tea leaf extract. Rooibos leaf extract. Oh yeah, charcoal powder. Okay, yep. Interesting. Interesting. I've never seen this brand. I've gotten their conditioners and their deep conditioners, but I haven't seen a purifying conditioner, so that's interesting. I wonder how my hair will react to that. I definitely like to use charcoal scrubs because I have an oily skin and an oily scalp, so I'm interested to see how that works for sure. Yeah, I'd give that scent like a 3 out of 5. It's fine. Oh, let me see what it says here. Reminiscent of a long, relaxing day out in the sun. Lean into the days with an exotic blend of lime, eucalyptus, and coconut. You know, I think I'd give it 4 because I like it just as much, if not more, than the Tanned and Tipsy. So I think I'll give it 4. So let's see. Last item, Tropic Like It's Hot. A spray hand sanitizer. I have a lot of their hand sanitizer. I haven't seen their spray hand sanitizer, but their normal hand sanitizer is my go-to. It has a little bit of aloe in it or something else that's like super hydrating. So, you know, when we were all super crazy with hand sanitizer, I never went overboard because I know how drying it can be for your skin is, but I never had problems with the Fortune Cookie Soap hand sanitizer because they do also have some of that moisturizing stuff mixed into it, so it isn't as drying. Plus, I think it has fun scents. So this is interesting. I have seen the hand sanitizer spray. Let's see if I can, it might just smell like alcohol to me, but let's see. Yep, nope, that's just alcohol. So we'll spray it. I always have to rub it in to get the scent anyway, so I'm intrigued. Interesting. Ooh, there's a bunch of liquid in it. Ooh, oh, nice spray. Nice spray. We'll do 2 sprays. And hopefully that'll be enough to get some scent here. Ooh, okay, yeah, no, tropical. I mean, this is coconut. I'm getting pineapple. This is like pina colada with something else. With some other tropical fruit that's not normal for a pina colada. Like a passion fruit or a lychee or something like that. I don't know. I like this. This is a 5 out of 5 for sure. I would definitely take like an aloe scented in this as well. Tropic like it's hot. This is almost too hot to handle. Smells like summer daydreams and white sands with tropical scents of sweet lychee, pina colada, citrus, and sugar crystals. Look at that. Love it. I love these more fruity scents. The menthol, I think this will be, I'm going to stick this one in my fridge right away, and I can alternate between this and the other aloe I have in it, because with the cooling sensation of the menthol in this, I think that'll be great, especially when I'm really feeling like heat, really feeling it from the heat, which is partly why I think I've been going to bed so early lately, is because the heat just kills me. Plus, it's a fun color. I love that color. It almost looks like it could glow in the dark. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling you about this. But definitely, if any of this sounded interesting, definitely check out Fortune Cookie Soap. I love it. They just announced that the Halloween box is on sale, and the pre-order will be open for 2 weeks. I love their Halloween boxes. I haven't decided if I'm going to get it or not because I have a lot of products backed up for them. But the scent description seemed really good for it, so I'm definitely intrigued. But I'm going to stop talking. We are at 1 hour and 7 minutes. I'm surprised I still kept it to 1 hour and under 1 hour and 15. How great. Alrighty. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to leave me a comment down below, let me know what your go-to moisturizer is for the summer. And if you have used like aloe as like a normal moisturizer, I think it's great, not just for sunburns. If you'd like to just leave me an emoji, leave me something summer related for Hot Girl Summer as our theme. But don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all soon with another video.